كلمات احفظ الله يحفظك احفظ الله تجده تجاهك إذا سألت فاسأل الله وإذا استعنت فاستعن بالله واعلم أن النصر مع الصبر وأن مع العسر يسرا واعلم أن الأمة لو اجتمعت على أن ينفعوك بشيء لن ينفعوك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله لك واعلم أن الأمة لو اجتمعت على أن يضروك بشيء لن يضروك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله عليك رفعت الأقلام وجفت الصحف. This is one of the major ahadith that Imam Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala used in his book, the 40 Hadith of Imam Nawawi, and one of the best teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to start off this topic. Because a lot of people think when we speak about the topic of jinn and magic and magicians and things that are related to ta'wizat and talsam and the amulet and all of that, we are trying to scare people from the life of the unseen. It is a reality. And the Prophet ﷺ said to Ibn Abbas, he said, protect Allah, meaning following the religion of Allah and the commands of Allah, Allah will protect you. And he said at the end of this beautiful hadith, he said, know that if all of mankind were to come together to benefit you, they won't be able to benefit you except if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed it for you. And know that if they all come together to harm you, they won't be able to harm you except what Allah has decreed upon you. The pens have been lifted and the books have been, or the books are dried. Meaning the qadr of Allah is set. So if someone is going to be harmed, he is going to be harmed regardless of how cautious he is and how careful he is. And if someone, Allah decides for him to bring benefit to him, no one could stop that benefit. Okay, one. Second point that is very important, everything we speak of today is to give you information, not to use or to scare you. We are relying upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power is beyond any power that we could imagine. So what's the sunnah of this? First of all, this topic, because of the time, it seems impossible. This topic is a workshop of 6 hours. So if you want to stay here 6 hours, I have no problem. Okay? I am going to only pick and choose from the topic that I feel that is relevant to our time and that is most important for you to take home. And then I will pass out these papers of Ruqya and the Quran Ruqya to take with you as a gift, inshallah. And I'm going to show you some stuff that I brought with me from the life experience. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the hadith narrated by Bukhari, that Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam complained for 1 month from an affliction of magic. And when he used to see things that happens or appears that are not true. So he would see that he entered his house and he ate something, then he would say to Aisha, you know, when I came early this morning, I ate this thing, and she said, you didn't come to the house. Till Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after a month sent Jibreel alayhi salam. فَقَالَ يَا مُحَمَّدْ أَتَشْكُ, you're complaining? He said, yes. He said, then I will teach you something to use. He taught Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam the best of Ruqya. He said, close your hands together and recite قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. 11 verses. Why? Because Labid ibn al-A'sam, the person who caused Rasulullah to go through this magic illusion, he tied 11 nuts, and every nut he had a needle. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, every needle they removed from the little toy. Okay, I think I actually have it. Every needle they removed from the body of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he felt complain. So he said, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. That's exactly how it looked like. The voodoo that a lot of people are used to today. So he said, this how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's what Labid ibn al-A'sam did to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the hadith. And he said, every time they say, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, and one nut will be untied and the needle will be removed. And he would say, oh, my body. So it will hurt where the needle was exactly placed. So Allah taught His Prophet ﷺ this concept of Ruqya. And this is what's more important. If you understand this life of the unseen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about in the Quran, as the first characteristic of the believers. First surah in the Quran is what? After Al-Fatiha. Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Correct? Who are those muttaqeen? What's their first characteristic? الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. That they believe in the unseen. Well, one of the creatures of the unseen are the jinn. And I'm going to show you today certain types that our houses might be afflicted with and how to deal with it. So what is Ruqya? Ruqya is a spiritual healing. It's the use of Quran or a hadith or adhkar or terminologies that do not contradict Quran and Sunnah. And you're using it with an intention to cure yourself and to feel better. Now, where did that come from? And this works with everybody. We today, as Muslims, are obligated to seek help from the experts. When we get sick, we have to go see a doctor. No problem with that, and you should. And the religion encourages you to do so. But what harm would you have if you put your hands together and read Surah Al-Fatiha 7 times, and then read the 4 قُلْ يَا الْكَافِرُونَ قُلْ وَاللَّهُ أَحَدٌ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, and wipe over your body and ask Allah by the dua of Jibreel, Bismillah arqiq, Wallahu yashfiq, min kulli da'in yudhik. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by His great name to give you full recovery and full cure, and then you wipe over your body. What harm will that do? Any? No. Any medication that you take with the benefit, it still has a side effect. The Ruqya is a treatment from the Quran that has no side effect. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the entire Quran as, Allah said, وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. We revealed the Quran as a cure. Shifa, cure, and mercy to the believers. Not only that, that the Quran is also a treatment to the non-believers. How? The hadith of Imam Muslim, when the Sahaba, Ridwanullah alayhim, they were traveling and they got to a city. And they spent few days there. The people of that city did not offer them anything. No hospitality whatsoever, not even water. They were very cheap. So their leader got stung by a snake. And he said, any of you knows the Ruqya? That was even known before Islam. The word Ruqya is a treatment. So the companion says, yes, I know a Ruqya. But if I treat you, you have to pay us something. Because you guys didn't offer anything. We are hungry a few days now. We need to eat. You're going to offer us something. He said, what do you want? He said, I need a sheep. A goat. He said, okay. He placed his hand on the place, on the area, and he read Surah Al-Fatiha, and the man was completely cured. And he gave him what they asked for. When he came to the Prophet ﷺ, this is the part. The Prophet ﷺ, he heard the story. Then he asked the Sahaba, he said, how do you know that Surah Al-Fatiha was a ruqya, a cure? He said, Ya Rasulullah, didn't Allah reveal the Quran as a cure? He said, yes. He said, I only memorize Al-Fatiha. So I believe, but it has to do with how much I believe. And I believe any of the Quran is a cure. So I did it and Allah cured him. The Prophet ﷺ said, enjoy the sheep and leave part for me, or give me some of it. Now, the companion, the difference between them and us today is that we are lacking the trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the promises. So we do things to test Allah, not trust Allah. We drink water of Zamzam, we make Umrah $2,000, we go to Hajj $7,000 or $8,000, and then we drink all Zamzam that we can from the source, and we're still sick. Why? Is the problem with the water of Zamzam? No, the water of Zamzam is the same water that exists at the time of Rasulullah, before Rasulullah, and after Rasulullah. It has to do with the person drinking the water of Zamzam and how much they believe in what they're doing. We read Al-Fatiha, we read Surah Al-Baqarah, we listen to Quran, and nothing changes in our life. Again, is the problem with the Quran? Yes? Okay, everybody's asleep. Is the problem with the Quran? No. We are certain that the Quran is still the Quran. So what's the problem? The problem is how much you're trusting that Quran. So when I tell people, do this, take water, read this, and pour it over yourself, they're like, okay, I'll do that. Well, there's a big difference between someone who takes in the water of Zamzam and says, Bismillah, oh Allah, cure me, believing that Allah will cure him, and someone who's saying, oh, Zamzam, okay, why not? Why not? Then it's not going to work. Same thing as you go to a doctor, he gives you medication. If you don't trust the knowledge that he has, and you feel like this doctor is not 100% firm, he's not good, I don't feel good about the doctor, Wallah, if he writes you the best prescription, you will not be cured. It all has to do with the mental and the heart, how much you believe. So the part of Ruqya that, there is no time to go into magic stories, so I'll just jump into the questions. I will introduce to you some of the information that you could benefit from, and I will make it more of interaction, inshallah, so we could answer some questions together. And then I'll show you some of the stuff that I brought, and I'll show you how to use the Ruqya and perform this spiritual healing on yourself, on your children, in the houses, and so on. The first question is, okay, maybe first three then. Why are the jinn called jinn? Anybody know why they're called jinn? Anybody know when we die, inshallah, where we would go? You don't know? Okay. I know. We're going to Jannah, inshallah. Yeah? It's called Jannah. Why is it called Jannah? Huh? Thank you. Hidden. Anything that is hidden, they call it Jannah, like a garden that has a wall, so you can't see the inside. Jannah is the same. It has doors, and we're today, or these days, we're supposed to talk about Rasulullah sallam, and better than anything, but the Mawlid of the Prophet sallam, and so on and so on. The Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be the first to enter Jannah, and the doors will be open for him, then everyone after him. So it's called Jannah because you can't see what's inside. Al-Jinn are hidden creatures that we cannot see with our own eyes, but they could see us every time and any time. So anyone, this is the first point. If you go to any sheikh or any person or anyone who gives you some of these papers, ta'wizat, or you guys call them ta'wiza, I'm sure. Ta'wiz or talsam or whatever, amulet or amal or hijab, whatever you came from, one of these words are used. So if you go and they tell you that they are dealing with jinn, or they see jinn with their own eyes in their actual form, then this person is, here you go, he's a liar. X, move on. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّهُ يَرَاكُمْ هُوَ وَقَبِيلُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا تَرَوْنَهُ. That they see you and you can't see them. So if you come and say, well, no, but I have more powers. You know, I was somewhere today and the brother told me that he sees angels and they come and they speak to him and they advise him. And I kept telling him, Wallahi, these are the Shaytani. And no, we have beliefs, we have iman, and our belief must be according to the teaching of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The only ones who could see jinn are three. The only ones who could see jinn are three. Okay? Number one, Sulaiman alayhi salam, he was able to deal with them and see them. Number two, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as I'm talking about their actual creation, their form of creation. Number threes, they're not animal now. Number three is not a human. Huh? Well, angels, they could see the jinn. We can't see angels either. Donkeys. Okay? Other than that, no one sees the jinn except what we were told. Number two, what are they created from? Huh? Nope. No. They are created from the flameless part of fire. And why is that important? Because I've been debating doctors and psychiatrists for years now, and some of them don't get it. Allah didn't say we created them from fire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَخَلَقَ الْجَانَّ مِن مَارِجٍ مِن نَار. Al-marij, it's the smokeless part of fire. So the top part, It's the one that you could put your hand in and out without being burned. So in reality, it is like air. So it is possible for the jinn to enter someone's body and control him. It doesn't, of course, it doesn't happen just any jinn walking in the street will just enter any human being. There are processes, there are certain rules and fundamentals that they have to follow also. So it's not something that it's fun. Meaning that if I'm walking by, any jinn could just attack me. No, it doesn't work like that. Jinn are scared of human beings like human beings are scared of jinn. They don't like to deal with us, by the way. They don't like to interact, okay? They are in our houses, they do interact on a certain level, like we will see, but they don't like that. So you understand that the smokeless part of fire. Why is that important? For two things. One, they are no longer in that creation, meaning they're no longer fire. Is that clear? I'll give you an example that Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah used. Imam Abu Hanifa was the Qadi. He was Qadi al-Quda, the judge. A man came to him and he said, you claim that Shaitan will be burned in hellfire. Imam Abu Hanifa said, yes. He said, how you claim something like that when he's created from fire? How would fire burn fire? Imam Abu Hanifa says, forgive me for what I will do, and you could take me to a higher judge or to the Khalifa. He took a rock and he hit him in his head. So the man said, لَأَشْكُوَنَّكَ الْخَلِيفَةِ. He said, before you complain to the Khalifa, did it hurt? He said, of course, I'm almost bleeding. He said, you're created from what? Clay, mud. So how did mud hurt you? And the man said, I forgive you then, I got it. You cleared it out. It's clear. There's no need for the Khalifa now. It is. So what we know about them is that they were created. And in the hadith of al-Bukhari, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a shaitan crossing by him, and he took him from his neck, and he squeezed them, and then he returned back. Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, you moved in salah. Were you doing something? He said, yes, there was a shaitan trying to cross by, and I tried to stop him, but he didn't stop. So I took him from his clothes to his neck, and I squeezed it on him till I felt his saliva on my hand. And then I remember the dua of Sulaiman alayhi salam that he made to Allah, and that power is only given to Sulaiman, so I let him go. Now, he felt his saliva. How is he from fire and there's saliva? Allahu A'lam. We don't know that creation. So we should not go deep into it to a point where we need to know everything about them. No, they're created from fire, they're no longer fire, move on. Is that clear, inshallah? Right. Question number 3. And I'm gonna try to go fast. I don't know the time that I have.
You have 6 bottles of water.
Oh, so till I finish them? MashaAllah. Right. Do jinn have gender? What's the proof? This is basic information. I haven't got to the deep stuff yet. They do have gender, yes. When you enter the bathroom, what do you say? Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi, male. Wal-khaba'ith, female. Of what? Of the jinn. And this is something that here is a point. Every time you enter the bathroom, you must make that dua. The reason is, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في الحديث الذي رواه الإمام مسلم ما بين أعين الجن وعورات ابن آدم أن يقول بسم الله اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الخبث والخبائث. The cover between you and them, for them not to see you. So be very careful. And I like to put some pressure on that point for a reason. Our sisters mainly. And I am intending to scare you. Alright? Here you go. I'm intending to scare you. So you could use the dua. Because some of us, we just enter the bathroom and we most of the time forget. And we forget to teach our children. Imagine you are in the bathroom area and people or someone is watching you. How would you feel? It is scary. We wouldn't like it. Rasulullah ﷺ said, if the cover between you and them is that dua, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you, that they won't be able to see you with their eyes. They won't have the vision to see the individual. But imagine if we don't make the dua, to a point that some of the scholars says, if you forget to make dua, you should make it inside, secretly, silently. Why? For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from the eyes of the jinn. So they do have gender, they produce. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وإذ قلنا للملائكة اسجدوا لآدم فسجدوا إلا إبليس كان من الجن ففسق عن أمر ربه أفتتخذونه وذريته. Allah said, you're taking Shaytan and his offspring. Okay? So he has a wife, and they have children, and their children have children, and they live and they die like us, except Iblis. Iblis is the only Shaytan who lived till the day of judgment because Allah gave him the extended life. Other than Iblis and the Shaytan, and your Qareen lives with you and dies with you. And we're gonna get to that too. You know, Imam Sha'bi rahimahullah, he was a funny scholar, yani, you know. Someone asked him, he said, yeah Imam, Iblis has a wife? This is how Muslims do. And Imam said, yes. He said, how do you know that? He said, the Quran, أَفَتَتَّخِذُونَهُ وَذُرِّيَّتَهُ, offspring. He said, what's her name? And Imam Shabi said, I wasn't invited to the wedding. They didn't send the... If I had the card, I would know her name. Like, that's not important. Move on. Things that Allah cleared it for us, enough. We shouldn't go deep into why, how, do they have this or that, except what Allah says. What are the names of jinn? Now, anybody know? Okay. First, if he is just the creation, Iblis, alayhi la'natullah, he is from the jinn. Meaning what? He is created to be a jinn. But when he disobeyed Allah, Allah called him Shaitan. Is that clear? So, now for example, we are all humans. The ones who believe in Allah, they are called Muslims or mu'min. The one who disbelieve, kafir. And the one who disobey, fasiq. So we have names. So al-jinn are just the creation. Okay? They're all the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, if those jinn has a job, which are al-awamir, the resident, that exists in every single house of ours. There are some people who see shadows in the house. They hear voices in their houses, upstairs, and no one is upstairs. Or they're upstairs and they hear some noises in the kitchen. I tell them first, you need to check if there's a cat, raccoon, something on the roof. Don't assume there's, right away. It could be your husband at night picking something up from the refrigerator, but he doesn't want you to know. It could be that you're on diet, but you're cheating, whatever that is. So I'm saying the awamir, al-amir is, not Imam Ammar, al-awamir, oh yeah, this is very, al-amir, I just noticed that right now. No, inshallah, you see him, he's fine. Al-amir, awamir are the resident jinn that lives with us in the house. And they are on levels. They are awamir who just residents of the house, so they cause no harm. They don't do any problem. They don't cause them. They're just living in a place where you live. And they like areas that you're not living in. So if you have a house back home or an empty house that nobody lives in, most likely they will be living there. Now, the second type of awamir are the disobedient jinn. Those are the ones who might steal your money if it's uncovered. Meaning, anything that is not in a box or in a jar, they are able to steal it. The Prophet ﷺ said, they are not allowed to open something that is locked. So at night, make sure everything is locked. Now, I know this could be a mean to problems. You know, your husband left $1,000 on the desk. You take it tonight and then you say, the jinn took it. Okay. No, I'm not saying that. I am saying that if you leave something valuable in the house, there are sisters that we were reading on, she used to leave her gold somewhere in her house, and every once in a while she would be missing gold. So when we read in the house, we actually recited the Quran and we sprayed the house. One of the jinn spoke and he said, jinn so-and-so is the one who steals her gold. And we were actually able to bring it back, alhamdulillah. That is something that happens. It does. Not necessarily when you're missing something, therefore your son is taking it, or it could be one of the jinn. Now, the third awamir are the ones who appear in the houses to be shadows. They appear in people's form. They might come in a form of your husband or your wife. You might see someone sitting with you on the bed and then they disappear. They might be the one harming you at night. All of this, the solution to the resident jinn are in a very simple way. Number one, you take in, you recite or you listen to Surah Al-Baqarah every 3 days. Just play Surah Al-Baqarah every 3 days. When you enter, number two, when you enter your house, you say, Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You give salam even if there is no one in the house. The shayateen will take a side or they will leave, as the Prophet ﷺ said. Number three, when you start eating, you say Bismillah and then you make the dua. They will stop, they'll lift their hands from the food. So therefore, you're protected, your house is protected, your food is protected. Otherwise, you could go through this harm. If one of you feels that there's something wrong in the house, you hear voices, you see shadows, if your kids tells you, I saw something running by my door, take it very serious. They could be the resident awamir who are harming the house or who are causing harm to the house. Easy way, if you feel it, you take this paper right here, then inshallah we could pass it after the lecture, inshallah. You take this paper right here, you take some water, and then you recite this paper, Ruqya of the Quran, into the water. And you take the water and every time you read something, you blow in it. And blowing, I will teach you the sunnah, as our shuyukh narrated from my sheikh to his sheikh to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam with a connected chain. The Prophet ﷺ told the Sahaba, when you are in salah and you are distracted, or when you wake up of a nightmare, you should do what? First you do what? You say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, and then? No, you don't spit. This is wrong. No. You blow on your left, because this is a problem. If your wife sleeps on your left, I know all the plans. I brought it all today. You spend, and then she wakes up with, and she's like, what happened? I don't know, Allah Alam. It might be jinn. It doesn't work like that. Or she does the other way around, okay? So how do you spit? But in salah, for example, you're not going to turn in salah to your left and spit on the person next to you. That's disgusting, So the Prophet ﷺ said to the Sahaba, and look at me here, because I'm narrating to you and the actual figure, how the Prophet ﷺ told the Sahaba, and how our shuyukh till they told us. You're praying, you look to your left, not to your left shoulder. You turn to your left, your eyes and not your head, and you go. So you're blowing out without saliva, okay? You're just blowing out 3 times, whether you're sleeping or not. One of the sisters told me every time she wakes up, she sees like she's wet, her face and all of that. And I told her, just put a camera at night. And she did. She said, my husband wakes up and he follows the sunnah. And mashallah, he doesn't do it on purpose. He actually does it, he doesn't see her. That's not an excuse to do that. So al-awamir are the resident. Now, where were we? You take the water, you put it in a spray bottle, and you spray every corner in the house. You spray your bed sheet, spray the room. 3 days. If you really feel something, if there is something in the house that is causing harm, their harm will increase. So you will hear voices, you will hear things running. Again, we need to make sure there's no cat in the house, there's no dog in the house, there's nothing running around the house. Go outside and see if your kids are there or so on. You spray it. If you do the spraying for 15 days, inshallah this should be gone, and no worries, inshallah. They should leave and not harm you. Ar-Ruh, the spirit jinn. The spirit jinn are mainly affliction to our children. These are the kids jinn. They only harm our children. They play with them, they mess with them, they make them do things that are crazy sometimes. They're special, they're called Ar-Ruh. And there is a specific time that you're not allowed, and you should not let your kids run around and play. Anybody know that time? Sunset time to Maghrib. Sunset time to Maghrib. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم امنعوا صبيانكم. You should withhold or hold your children away from it, because the shayateen spreads at that time. So most people, they take their kids out to the park around 5 o'clock, 4:30, 4 o'clock, which is the Shayateen time, and then we complain, the kid doesn't sleep, he jumps off the bed, he's behaving this and that. If you feel that your kid is misbehaving or doing something that is abnormal, abnormal means what? That they're doing it constantly and they are overdoing it. That could be that they have extra energy. It could be that this is their behaviors. They don't take out their energy and anything, so they take it in the house. So you should consider playing sport with them or something. You know, when I was in Florida, I used to do the ruqya and read on people day and night when I was doing that. So I had a brother, he came at 2 a.m. He knocked on my door at the hotel. Ya Sheikh, my son has a jinn. And the Aini Miskin, the kid was 6 years old, barely awake. So I said to him, your son is a jinn himself, mashallah. He jumps all the time. I see him at the masjid. He said, no, Allah, he has jinn. I said, okay, can you bring him tomorrow at least? The kid, I feel bad. He's like, you have to read. He been jumping from the bed to the ground all night. Okay, I put my hand on the child. I start reading Al-Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi. He fell asleep. The father said, you see? The jinn is there. I said, okay, how about you take him and the jinn and go home, rest, inshallah, and then bring him tomorrow, inshallah. Then I read to him again tomorrow. The kid was fine. He was just playing around. Kids playing. We shouldn't. This right here is to give you awareness, not to give you a hanger where you hang all your problems on it. So everything that happens in our life because of jinn, anything that happens because of magic, anything that happened because of ta'weez, anything that happened because of evil eye, anything that happened because of envy, hasad. Oh, they look at my son. He's not doing good. You know why he's not doing good? Because he's not studying. Simple, easy. These became our hangers in our house, where it becomes much easier to just complain or to rely upon something other than our faults. I'm not saying that don't exist. I'm giving it to you already. I'm here for that. But I'm saying it's not to the level or to the extent that Muslims have taken it today, that everything happens because of that or so on. Shaitan is the devil or the disobedient jinn or disbelieving jinn. Married are the ones who are used by magicians only. They are, now after Sulaiman alayhi salam, al-marada are the complete power. They have very strong power and they have a lot of power to do evil things, and they're used mainly nowadays by magicians. Al-ifrit is the top. Top means, yani if a person has ifrit working for him, I'll tell you right now, how many people here are from India? Oh, everybody. Last 2 years ago, the magicians met, and don't ask me how do I know. Magicians met, and they elect every few years the top magician. So the two chosen was one from India and one from Yemen. They became the top magician. And the reason that the Indian person, of course, he's not Muslim, so you guys, no relationship, I'm not saying anything. He's dealing with Ifrit and 7 of them. He has Ifrit and they have 7 Afarit with him that they are doing things for them, and he's well known now. No, not this slide. So these are the names of jinn and their levels of harm. So we have, anybody remember? Jinn. We have, oh, everybody know that one now. Now we got the Sheikh in trouble. Okay, Awamir. How about we use the plural form? Awamir. Okay, and it's much better. Number 3, Ar-Ruh, the spirit. And these are the afflicted jinn. If you feel that your son has a problem, this is all you do. Take this paper right here. Read on water. And shower them every 3 days. The kid should be completely fine. If you feel there is something else going on, take him to somebody who could perform the ruqya, the complete recitation on him. And I wish that we have enough people to do ruqya and perform it and learn how to do it correctly, because we have so many fraud raqi of our time than actual real raqi. A sister just came, we've been reading on her for a few days now. And this person, she went to this person to cure her. So he gave her 3 things. He gave her This book right here is called Al-Kitab al-Muqaddas, the Bible. To read. This thing right here. This thing right here. Can everybody see that? This is to protect from the eyes, like the evil eye. Okay? And he gave her this one. What was this one for? Yeah, this one to bring in rizq. Alright? Now, if I were to do an auction today, how much would you buy this for? Huh? $2. Wallah, I wouldn't even spend $2. How much? Anybody?
100.
Who said 10,000? Okay, Folsom has a problem now. You'll sell. How about donate that 10,000 to the masjid and Allah will increase your rizq? This thing right here, she paid $550. And I told her, anything changed? She said, my life is worse. This is the problem. As I said, we seek the help from other than the guidance of Quran and Sunnah. We fall in the hands of those people who does things that might lead to shirk. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man allaqa tamimatan faqad ashrak." Anyone who hanged this as a tamima, as an amulet for protection, then he disbelieved in Allah. He has committed shirk. And later, inshallah, we'll speak about the part. Do jinn eat or drink? Yes, they do eat or drink. They eat your food and they drink your drink. If you don't say Bismillah. If you say Bismillah, then the Muslim jinn will come to your house. They'll eat the leftover or the food. And then Rasulullah said, don't break the bones. If any of you like to do that, please stop. You don't break the chicken bones, especially the chicken. Kids love to do that, I don't know why. But chicken bones and bones, you don't break it. Rasulullah said Allah would reform it. It will become fresh again for them to eat. But again, you shouldn't go home and try this. But eat the chicken, put the bone and wait all night. You know, the jinn already ate and they left and you're still looking at the bone. Because their life, you have to understand this, their life takes in different timings and different zoning than ours. And I'll give you an example to clarify the difference between that and the life that it's the hereafter or the alam al-ghaybiyat, the unseen. Anybody know how many minutes or hours do an actual dream takes? Anybody study psychology before?
Few seconds.
Huh?
Few seconds, a minute.
No, not few seconds. I need something specific. They say a dream mostly takes between what and what? Huh? I can't hear anything. 2 minutes? No.
1 hour.
Okay, let me ask you. A dream that you saw yourself going to India, you visit your family, you saw your relatives, you ate with them, you went to your favorite masjid, and you came back. Usually, how long will that take you if you really want to do it in real life? Alright? Few hours? Okay.
1 hour.
Any dream takes between 8 and 12 seconds. All of these things happen in what? You see? So don't try to understand how do they eat this bag. I'm telling you, your own dream takes 8 to 12 seconds. And you see yourself sometime going to Hajj and coming back. And you took a shower and you did the ihram and you saw your friends and all of this, which could take few days. But you see it in 8 to 12 seconds. Well, to you, if somebody's sitting next to you, it's 8 to 12 seconds. But to you, it was what? Hours. Do you understand now that what I'm saying? The vision? So they do things that Allah gave them certain powers to do things in a way that we can't understand. And Sulaiman, when he wanted to move the throne of Bilqis from Yemen to Palestine, it takes 3 months of travel. And the Ifrit, he said to him what? I could bring it faster than a blink of an eye. Faster. Before, when you blink, before your sight returns, the throne is going to be here. When he saw that, he said, Alhamdulillah, nobody could do that. This power is beyond anybody's power. Even though someone said that the other person who brought it was a righteous person. Where do the jinn live? They live anywhere where people don't live. They live in places of garbage. They like to live in areas, depth of ocean. And the only ones who are logged in the depth of ocean today are the jinn that worked with Sulaiman alayhi salam, and after him their offspring. In Sulaiman alayhi salam, when they start causing harm and they start learning magic, he locked them in a place and then he sent them to the depth of the ocean. Now, when Sulaiman died, they returned and they took all the books of magic and they placed it under his throne. So when the magicians came, they told them, come and learn magic. People said, magic is haram. This is known to every religion. Magic is forbidden to learn. They said, no, we found these books of magic under the throne of Sulaiman alayhi salam. So they brought it out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Rasulullah, وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. Sulaiman did not practice magic. They are the disbelievers. They are the kuffar. That's why till today we still have what they are called al-khawatim al-Sulaymaniya, like the rings of Sulaiman, or the papers of Sulaiman that looks like this. If any of you have seen it, or if you've seen it anywhere, be very careful of it, because this right here is magician act that could bring harm to your family, that could things like that. Any of you has any of these papers at home? Anybody? I went to a brother, he's from anyway, to visit his family, and he said he sees things at night, and his wife and all of these things. I found one of these papers in a frame hanged on the wall. So I said to him, what is this? He said, this is for the barakah, Sheikh. And I said, and you're complaining that you have jinn in the house? All of this right here are names of jinn. If I were to read it out loud, then jinn will actually come out right now. This is called Al-Ahd Al-Awwal, Al-Ahd Al-Thani, the first promise of Sulaiman. You see these letters. Okay, I didn't want to go into that, but because we did. Any stick here? These letters right here. Okay, anytime anyone gives you a piece of paper that is ta'weez, that is used for protection, that is used for do you have any stick with you? If you see any of this writing, you notice the writing here has what? Allah's name, yes? That shouldn't fool you. This one has Jibreel, Mikael, Israfil, Azrael, Ali, Abu Bakr. The problem is with these letters. Those people who study tajweed, they know what these letters mean. Each letter in tajweed has a number. Alif is a number, 1. Ba is 2. Jim is 3. Dal is 4. Ha is 5. Abjad, Hawaz, Hutti, Kalam. These letters, I'm going to show you something that they use as a trick now. If you see any time a square like this with numbers and letters, if you see circles like that with numbers and letter, if you see a stamp or this dagger thing that they consider the sword, a lot of these has mix of honey and poison. Okay? It has honey and poison. The honey is this part right here. What is this? Ayatul Kursi. Yes? This is Ayatul Kursi right here. So what's the problem of having Ayatul Kursi? The problem is not with Ayatul Kursi. There are two things. They mess up the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so it's never written right. Number two, they add little words in between or numbers to bring in the jinn. So they're messing up the ayah. So if you were to read the ayah without knowing these numbers, you would think it's just the Ayatul Kursi, because that's how you're reading it. But when they read it and they transform it, this is what they call the Sulaymani tariqa. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? They followed what the shayateen sent on the throne of Sulaiman. وَمَا كَفَرَ Sulaiman. Sulaiman was a prophet. He never used this as kufr, to bring jinn or to bring in the help of jinn. But the shayateen are disbelievers because they have taught people magic. Magic that does what? 1, it separates between the husband and the wife. This is a lot. A lot nowadays. You know, there was a sister, her mother-in-law did some magic for her, so she would bring her heart and her husband's heart closer, because her son was all over the place, so she wanted him to settle. So she went to a magician in one of the countries, okay, one of the Arab countries, and the magician made the spell wrong. So it turned the spell that the husband or the son hated every woman that faces him, even his mother. So she did it to bring in love, and the magician did it wrong. So it turned that he hated all women, including his wife and his mother, till we read on him, and it was a big issue. If you have problems with your husband, go see Imam Ammar. Do counseling, honestly. If you feel that there's something really dramatically changing, the relationship, things went 180 degree, there is problems in the house, there is things that you don't have a reason for or an explanation. Like you see your husband in a form that is not his, meaning when he gets closer to you, you see him in an animal's face, or subhanAllah, the appearance. If something like that, yes, go seek the help from the Ruqya and all of that. But bringing in the love together, and that's in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of our shuyukh, just to release that thought, one of our shuyukh, a woman came to him, she said, Sheikh, I want you to do me some ta'weez for my husband to love me. He said, very easy. But I'll do it for you, but you have to bring me a hair from a monkey. Monkey's hair. Okay, so I could do it for you. She went to the zoo. She sat there all day watching the monkey. There's no way that she could get a hair from a monkey. Monkey's running all over the place. So second day she got the trick. She brought some banana, okay, some nuts, and she came closer to the monkey's cage, okay, trying to please the monkey, and the monkey came, stole the banana, ran away. Okay, then she came closer with the nuts. The monkey came, stole the nuts, ran away. So okay, third day, she came in, she dressed all yellow, all right, colors of the banana that he likes. She brought nice banana, but she kept it far away from him. She had some nice perfume on, attracts the smell, the monkey smell. Then the monkey came closer, and she was very nice, smiling. Then the monkey tricked and stole the banana and ran away. Fourth day, she added to what she did some singing and very nice. And anyway, after 6-7 days of doing all that, she was able to pull the hair. She went to the sheikh. She said, Alhamdulillah, I brought you the hair of a monkey right here. All right, this is not a hair of a monkey. This actually was done magic. We just resolved it last week, Alhamdulillah. So she said, here is a monkey's hair. He said, how did you get it? Oh, she told him, you don't know. I had to buy perfume, makeup, dress in yellow, bring banana, see what he likes, music. He said, Wallahi, if you do half of that to your husband, he'll be better than a monkey. Yani, if you're able to please a monkey in 1 week, you did what you did to a monkey in 1 week and you got a hair. You can't control your husband. Wallahi, if you dress one time and sing for him, he'll be happy. And if that's the case, go home, I'm not going to do anything for you. And you get the point? That's the point. Number 7, what is their power? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. The plotting of the shaitan is very weak. We make them strong. Meaning what? The weaker we are in the connection with Allah, the stronger they are against us. It's like a triangle. Alright? You're here, the shaitan is here. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above. If you get closer to Allah, you're getting away from the shaitan. Now, if you get farther away from Allah, the shaitan will easily attack you. Allah has told you, shaitan is weak. You cannot defeat him. Let me tell you. He came to Ubay ibn Ka'b, hadith narrated by Imam Muslim, and he said, Ubay ibn Ka'b was reciting Quran, and this man came to steal from the zakah money. So he caught him. First day, second day, third day. This is different from hadith Abu Hurairah. So Ubay in the third day said, you know what? I will take you to the Amir and he would know what to do with you. He said, you can't. And he said, why not? He said, because I will harm you. And he was talking aggressive to Ubay ibn Ka'b radiallahu anhu. Then he said he lifted his clothes that he was wearing, and I saw his feet as a sheep or a goat feet. So I knew that he was not a human being. So I let him go and I said, Wallahi, there is nothing you could do. I have Ayatul Kursi, and when I recite it, I'm protected from you. That Ayatul Kursi. Shaitan cannot come closer to a person who recites Ayatul Kursi. Shaitan cannot have a power over you when you sleep at night on wudu, reciting the mu'awwidat or the 4 qul, Ayatul Kursi, the last 3 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, and Surah Al-Fatiha. The shaitan cannot come closer to you when you read La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulk wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shayin qadir 100 times every day. One of our shuyukh was reading on a brother, and he told the shaitan to leave the body. The jinn kept saying, no, I'm not leaving. At the end he said, okay, I will leave with one condition. The sheikh said, what? He said, I would leave if I enter your body. And the sheikh said, go ahead. For us, we said, no, he said, go ahead. We didn't say anything. We were silent. Few minutes, and we're waiting, and the brother passed out in front of us. We are waiting for something to happen. All we hear is weeping, someone crying. And then someone else said, you cannot do that because he recited La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulk wa lahul hamdu ala kulli shayin qadir 100 times today, and you know that when they do that, they are protected. So you made a promise upon yourself that you cannot fulfill. And he left the body. Just because the sheikh knew what he was doing, we were very scared because you don't mess with that. The Prophet ﷺ said, لا تتمنوا لقاء العدو. First, you don't wish to meet your enemy. And some people, by the way, they think dealing with jinn is something that is very scary. No, it's not. They speak like us. They thought, by the way, Hollywood and Disney made it seem scary on purpose. Our kids now has the vision of the shaitan, those shaitan with horns, right? You know, they fly, they have red eyes, and they speak in a tone that's the jinni tone. I've been in this field for over 15 years. I have spoken to over, what, call it 1 million jinn? I don't know how many you wanna, seriously. They are either male or female. One sister I was reading on, she had 7 jinn on her. 7. They were speaking like a family. They were actually a Christian family. The father is convinced of Islam, the mother and the daughter are not. And the sons are with the dad. So we're talking. They said the Shahada, they're saying no. And they're arguing that Islam is the religion, no Christianity is there. And they're talking, and we're just sitting down. we're just watching the debate. They're talking normally. These voices and sounds that the TV and the movies have described to us is to get the fear in our heart from the shayateen, that we start getting scared. And we have the Quran that protects us from them. Abu Hurairah, he saw the shaitan 3 days. Didn't he? And at then Rasulullah told him what? You know who you've been talking to for 3 days? You were talking to the shaitan, and he taught him Ayatul Kursi. It wasn't scary. They speak like us, they talk like us, they have different, of course they have different language, it depends on what jinn. I'll tell you a case that came to my mind, one of the strangest case. I was reading on a brother and I was sure that this brother has jinn. 100%. But the problem is, the jinn did not speak for almost a month. So at the end, this person was an older man, he was illiterate, he didn't read or write. So one day when we recited Quran, he starts screaming very loud and he started asking for a pen and a paper. So we brought him the pen and the paper and we gave it to him. And then he started writing. He said, you dummies, I'm trying to tell you that I am mute. That's what he wrote, literally. You know, I can't speak. You're saying speak, and I'm trying to speak, but I can't speak. After we finished, you know, Shaitan left his body and he woke up. I asked his family, I said, your father knows how to read or write? They said he have never held a pen in his hand. He doesn't even know the letters. So I showed them the writing, and they say, no way. So I said, okay, brother, can you take this pen? Please write me Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And the old man got very angry and he said, are you making fun of me, like, because I don't read or write? I don't know how to read or write. I said, okay, alhamdulillah. That was something strange. So there's nothing to be scared of, but the Prophet says, don't wish to meet your enemy. And if you do meet them, then be patient and be strong. So one of the reasons that we have this affliction of jinn in our life, and most of the things happen because of that, is our children going online, they're searching it through Sheikh Google, they're reading books, and one of the most famous book that falls in the hand of people today is called Shamsul Ma'arif, that is sold on Amazon for $15 only. That book is considered to be the top magic book that exists in history. Of course, not the full version, but at least part of it. When you see your kids searching these things, you need to stop them, because the more they search it up, the more they look into it, the more harm that they bring to their life. Tell them, you want to search up jinn? Yes, memorize Surah Al-Jinn. You want to search up jinn? Memorize the Quran and Allah will protect you, and Allah told you everything about jinn in the Quran. So that's where you should look for them, not through these websites or these books that they read. طيب, can we go quickly over this or خلاص? That's good. The time. Few minutes time. Can jinn transform? Yeah or no? Yes or no? Okay. They honestly can't. But with one condition. If they learn a spell, the magic spells, to transform. Other than that, they can't. Meaning, you cannot just see someone there, okay, a person, and then they disappear. And then they come back and they can't do that. They could transform, as Umar ibn Khattab said, and Ibn Kathir rahimahullah mentioned the narration, that they cannot transform unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them the power of knowing the spells, magic. They use certain words, certain magic to change. And the proof for that is the hadith of Al-Bukhari. When the companion of Rasulullah returned from a battle, he saw his wife outside of the house. He said, "What are you doing outside?" She said, "Wait till you see." So he came inside the house, he found a snake. Okay? A snake are one of three. Or one of two things. A snake is either the animal, a snake, or a shaitan or a jinn. We could say shaitan or jinn, three. So what did he do? He took his sword out, and then he did what? He killed the snake, and the snake killed him. So they both died at the same time. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ مَعَكُمْ إِخْوَانُكُمْ عَوَامِرٌ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ. You have your brothers who live with you in Medina. So if you see a snake, Samu, say Bismillah first, and then if they leave, then they are a jinn. If they don't leave, then they are shaitan or a snake, and you could kill them. Why wasn't he able to transform to another object? As long as they transform into an object, then you could get rid of them and kill them. But if you ever see a snake, you need to do this. You point at it, again, from far away. Yeah, don't go and like, "Hey, snaky baby," you know, it's not a cat. Alright? You don't do that. From far away, you say, "Bismillah, I ask you by Allah and the covenant, the promise that Sulaiman have taken upon you to leave my house," 3 times. If you say that 3 times and they leave, alhamdulillah, we have seen it with our own eyes. If they don't leave, they are either a snake, so you could kill it, or they are a shaitan who's locked in a body of a snake, so you could also kill it. You have full control over it. So don't ever see a snake and kill it right away, because it could be harmful to you. They could actually turn and kill you at the same time as they did with the companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they do transform. They transform into what? Human beings. Okay? 2, they transform mainly into snakes. That's why if any of you sees repetitive dreams of snakes, then you need to discuss it with someone who knows these things. If you see dreams, if you see a lot of dreams, repetitive, now one time, 10 years ago you saw a snake. I'm talking about something that happens once a month, twice a month. Snake running after you. Mainly, there is a problem with the house, with the person. There is an affliction of jinn somehow that is related to this snake thing. A snake, a human, a snake, a black dog. The Prophet ﷺ said, Abu Hurairah said, a black dog is a shaitan. They said, "Ya Abu Hurairah, what's the difference between a black dog and what's the difference between a black dog and a white dog, or a black dog and another dog?" He said, "A black dog is a shaitan. Rasulullah told me that." Yani they transform into black dogs. Do they transform into cats, black cats? So far, till what I'm sitting right now, 15 years of experience, I haven't seen that. And I haven't even heard it from the jinn that they transform into black cats. So the idea that Muslims said black cats are also shayateen, that's not true. Black cats have nothing to do with it because Rasulullah said they are part of your family. Do they have religion? Yes. Yes. And the worst of the jinn are? No. I'm not gonna say it just to. طيب. Will the jinn? Yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَنَّ مِنَّا الْمُسْلِمُونَ. Some of us are believers and some of us are non-believers. Okay, we have the righteous and the non-righteous. Imam Al-A'mash used to recite on people. So he asked the jinn, do you have sects? Like you have groups? You know, this group and this group and that group, that, like us. You know, we have groups, right? They said yes. He said, what's the worst group that you have seen? They said the worst group that we have seen are so and so. Search it up inshallah on your own. طيب, will they enter Jannah or hellfire? Yes. Yes. لم يطمثهن إنس قبلهم ولا جان. There are so many ayat that describe that the women of paradise were not touched by humans or jinn before. Meaning what? Meaning jinn will have the pleasure of Jannah and they will also be punished by hellfire. Why? Because they are obligated to follow what we follow. So sometime when we read on a person, that person could have a jinn that is Muslim, or a jinn that is non-Muslim, or a jinn that is Christian, or a jinn that is a Jew, or a jinn that is atheist, a jinn with no... It's possible. So it depends which one you deal with and who you deal with. We have different strategy on doing that. Do the jinn know the future? No. Things that they tell you, or, you know, this is the problem. The fortune tellers, palm readers, card readers and sidekick. What's the other one that I'm looking for? Horoscope. All of these are equal to one of two. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you go to someone, a magician or one of these liars over there, if you visit them and you ask them and you don't believe it, like when they tell you something, but you guys just ask curiosity, your salah is not accepted for 40 days. So you still have to do salah, knowing what? Knowing it's not accepted. You still have to perform salah 40 days. And if you believe what they tell you, you disbelieved in what Allah has revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is the Quran. It's very dangerous. You don't see them at the mall and you just say, let me check it out. Can you? You know, they always tell you the same thing, by the way. These two lines right here means life. You're gonna marry someone that you like, and the brother's like, no, not really. Right? I'm stuck with my wife. You know, this is your job. You're gonna be fired from your job. I just got it last week, man. What? They are telling you things, making you believe in things. How do they know some things about you? Remember, every and each one of us has what? We have two qareen. Two. Qareen is like a partner from the angels and a partner from the jinn that lives with us 24/7. Now your qareen, the evil one, the jinn, the shaitan, he's yours. He's born with you, he lives with you, and he dies with you. Aisha said, even you, Rasulullah, you have a qareen? He said, yes, even me, I have a qareen. They whisper. Now your qareen knows all your information, correct? You say, how do they know that? Well, they live with you 24/7. Like the SIM card you put in the computer, it gives you all the data about the person. Now, if this woman or this man asks you for your name or your mother's name, especially mother, they don't ask for father's name, mother's name, then you know that this person is a magician. They ask for these two names, they match them somehow, like Rasulullah ﷺ, his name is? Nobody knows Rasulullah's name? La hawla wa quwwata illa billah. I think everybody's asleep, so I'm just gonna end it to there, inshallah. Rasulullah's name is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you have two meme. His mother's name is Amina. You have one meme. Alright? So they taken in the two memes, they match it with the first meme, they put down the number, they add it, then they divide it by, you're saying like, I'm not gonna teach you because I don't want you to go home and do that. Anyway, when they divided the name of Rasulullah and his mother, he was in the category of water. They divide humans into 4 categories: air, fire, water, sand or soil. It depends which category you are. So if they want to do magic to you, they have to know which category. So they take your name, your mother's name, they match it together and they find it. Now Rasulullah was water, in the category of water. So when they did the magic for him, they tied his hair Because the servant, she stole his comb and it had hair. So they tied the hair and they buried it where? In the well of water, not in a grave, because he's not muddy. He's not from the mud category. They didn't put it in a bird's feet to fly away because he's not air. They didn't put it in fire to boil because he's not fire. He was water. Water means that the magic would only take place and effect if they do it right. So when they take your name and your mother's name, they take the report from your qareen. They ask him, this process takes the 8 to 12 seconds. What is he? Where did he come for? So this woman could tell you, oh, you came from this country. You have 4 brothers and 3 sisters. Your mother passed away last year. You know, you lost your car a few weeks ago and you lost your keys. And then they're like, wow, how do they know that? Qareen is reporting. Your qareen reports to them. That's all they know. So they start telling you things that are all complete lies and fabrication. Rasulullah said, if they say the truth once, they add 100 lies to it. Because they don't know what's coming. But you believe them so much that you are convinced of what they're telling you. طيب. Can any human see the jinn in their original form? We said no. Can we use the help of the jinn with matters in our lives? I would say no, even though some scholars, with all due respect, believe that you could use the help of jinn to cure magic for someone. I asked magicians. I have met few magicians in my life. Some of them have repented, alhamdulillah, they are Muslims, very famous. They're on YouTube. I could refer you to some of them. They told their stories and all that. I asked them personally, what's the problem of using jinn to cure magic? The problem is most of the mashayikh, with all respect to all imams and mashayikh, they read about these topics in books. So they're taking it from the theological part of it. Theories. Now, the reality is, the question is, how do you use jinn to do something for you? What do you need to do for them to be able to help you out? Because the Prophet ﷺ needed the jinn when he was migrating to Medina. He needed the jinn with the harm of Mecca. He needed the help. Did he ever call upon the jinn to help him? No, never. So when you say it's allowed to do it for a benefit, I need to tell these mashayikh, do you know what you're gonna do for the jinn? No jinn on earth would help an individual unless this person sacrifices something for them. Is that clear? You know, there are some magicians in the US, they're well known, Chris Angel and them. You know, some of you knows them. The process they had to go through, they have to be isolated for 40 days. Now if this jinn is disobedient, like he's bad, they asked the magician that I met, he repented, alhamdulillah. They asked him to go to a place 40 days to isolate from, this is not Jama'at al-Tabligh, you know, nobody should accuse anybody. This is, some people tell me why the 40 days here. I don't know. It's divided into 10, 20, 30, 40s. The 40 days of Jama'at al-Tabligh, Jazahumullah khairan, for the da'wah and the isolation of dunya and increase iman. They're doing it with an intention to purify their iman, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them with their mission, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide them to do the right thing, because we are not able to fulfill some of that. So they are doing it. May Allah reward them. The magician 40 days is different. So please don't ever accuse the Jama'ah or anybody who, like I heard the Sheikh saying 40 days and you guys are, no. There's no analogy, no qiyas here. Okay? So they told him to go 40 days. You know what he did? He took the Quran. He divided the Quran into 2 halves. And then he wore the Quran in his feet as a slipper. The one half and the other half. And they told him, you do not use water to purify yourself or to clean yourself at all for 40 days. Imagine that. Don't use water at all. And at all, I mean at all. Whether you, whatever. You relieve yourself, you do whatever. Of course, and they ask him to do a lot of other things. They ask him to curse the mu'adhin for 40 days, every single adhan. They ask him to walk with that Quran in the one of the Christians magician, he's known. He was asked to take the Bible into the bathroom and to urinate on it and to bring in blood from ministration of a woman and to color off the Bible with it so they could help him. So they know everybody's religion. So there is no way those shuyukh and the ulama who says it's fine to use jinn because they're going to help you to help someone else, really you don't know what to help. They would not be able to sacrifice or to do some work for you unless you truly sacrifice something for them. And I just gave you one example of what these people do, and you could imagine what is beyond that from the evil that they commit in their life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of you. You know, I brought with me these little things that we just saw in the, these are all magic that we just dissolved. One of the sisters lost her daughter, and this sheikh sent this paper to her, and he actually had it in this nuts right here. I don't know how he sealed it. He was a genius, you know. So we opened it up in front of her, and I told her, inside there's nothing. It says some ayah of the Quran, and then the names of jinn, and then the name of her daughter. And I told her, were you able to see your daughter? She got lost for a few months. She came to California, and she left her daughter in Virginia, so they don't know anything about her. She said, yes, she called me right after I did this. I said, yes, you know why she called you? Because the jinn caused her to call you, so you could believe in this and disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Know that any of these things doesn't benefit. This brother right here bought this beautiful Quran book that maybe Imam Ammar could look at. He'll be the best to read. But this is not actually Quran. It is Quran. It has Surah Al-Kahf and some of the Surah الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ and so on. But it's written all over with magic words. And he kept it in his house, and his mom was afflicted for over 20 years. And then when I saw this book, alhamdulillah, we finally were able to dissolve the magic. We found the magic being buried overseas, not here. And he traveled with his mother to one of the countries, and he found 3 things, and he sent it to me. And subhanallah, it was all magic. This book right here, you know how much he paid for? Anybody want to give a number here? Huh? This one he bought it for $1,500 online. Yeah, $1,500. This is what Muslims are buying. These things right here, we took it from some brothers and we took some pictures of it. These things right here are being sent from places like Egypt, Morocco, India, Sudan. Online, they're selling it right now. Each one is $500, $600. They're used for protection. They're used for to give you more risk. They're used for children, to have more children. They're used to do so many things. One of the sisters bought this one right here. I don't think I have it here. This one right here, the magic that is written in this picture, subhanallah, this one right here, it's fake. The person who did it, he's not even a professional. He's not a professional magician. Okay? So he did it wrong. This is 15,000. 15,000, giving it to a woman so she could have children and have good life with her husband. Now, with that, she had some thread hair dissolved in the orange juice, and she drank it all. Every time she has a child, she goes through the pregnancy up to 6 months, miscarriage. 6 months, 4 months, miscarriage. Subhanallah, we read on the sister, and after a while of reading, we start giving her water that has recitation of Quran to read, to drink. As soon as she started drinking that, she started throwing up balls of hair. Balls, black. I just don't have I think the picture is in the other computer. I keep a copy of all of this just to show people and to warn them. Something like this, something close to that. All right, like this hair right here, balls of hair inside of her body. Subhanallah, we did the reading, alhamdulillah, she was feeling fine. 3 years later, I went to that state to visit. They called me for a conference. So when I went, the father came and he said, I want to invite you to the house. We have our aqiqah for her twin. She had twin boys. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed her. So anybody who gives you any of these things, nowadays magicians in some countries, all magicians are not almost professional, they just learn. This person sold this paper right here, all right, to a brother, and he gave it to him in the, what do you call it? What do you call the amulet? Ta'weez, yeah? But he gave it to him in a black ta'weez, okay? Like This one right there, the one on the left, far left. Okay, so this paper was inside this little black thing, and he was hanging it on his chest. So I said to the brother, "Can I open it up?" He said, "No." The man told me, "Don't open it up." He bought a box from him for over $3,000. So he shipped it from overseas to here. Good business, and yeah, why not? And it's all kufr. So I opened it up, and the brother was very scared in front of everybody in the masjid. So I opened it up. Okay, I said, Bismillah, mashallah. Here you go. That's it. Huh? Yeah. And I said, "You paid $3,000? And the brother said, "Shaykh Ammar, maybe it's written in invisible ink." And I said, "Okay, get a dog to lick it for you if it's invisible ink." I told him, "You're a magician that you trust the guy," and he still said he's a good. I said, "The guy did not even bother to do work." Yani at least some writing. Fine, if you paid, at least some writing. He gave him a piece of paper, plain white. Why? Because he was sure that this person would not open it. He told him, "Don't open it, because if you open it, harm will come to you." So he kept it on his neck as a necklace. And I noticed it, subhanAllah, I was talking to him, he was telling me some stories, and I said, "What is this on your neck?" So he gave it out. A lot of these things, this book right here, written by a great Imam, I don't want to say the name of the Imam, alright? Written by a great Imam, it's all has to do with magic. These books right here are sold for like $1,500, $500, $600. I said, subhanAllah, if you give a masjid that $1,000 that you spend for this box, wallahi, you would have seen a change in your life and a better connection between you and your wife for the rest of your life. But you end up going through this harm because of these things that you see and you have. Anyone who has something like that, or someone that tells you that they're able to give you something to keep you protected, or someone that tells you that I know the future and I could help you out and I know your problem, and even if he does help you out, and even if you see changes, know that this is the action of the shaitan. Why? To trick you, to give you fitna, to fall into the affliction and the harm of these people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect your community from them, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep this masjid protected and keep you inshallah protected, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless Imam Ammar and forgive me for the time that I took. Everybody's still awake, alhamdulillah, but I want to pass this out inshallah to the brothers and sisters. The least that you could do with your children is read this ruqya on water. Just take the water like this, and you read Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, ar-Rahman. You're blowing into it, and then you go, and then you read. And have this water, mix it with a 5 gallon or so, and have it ruqya water. Your children drinks from it in the morning. Shower them with it if you want. Wipe over their face with it. The best, if any of you have dreams, nightmares, things that you see that you don't like in the house, my advice to you, take olive oil, read the same ruqya on olive oil. Come here, Dad, come here. Take some olive oil, rub over your body every night before you sleep. And when you wake up in the morning, shower with the water that has recitation of the Quran. Inshallah, I promise you within 15 days, things should be fine with you, inshallah. If anybody has any other question or any other concern, please send me to, the brothers just created the new page. It's called imamammar.com. You could go on it, inshallah. Send your request. This is the website here. Send your request, your phone number, your email, your complaint. We look at it every week. We look at all the complaints we have. Of course, right now we have thousands. So we look at the most important, just title, magic, jinn, something that is real serious. But if you have a dream, Imam Ammar inshallah will interpret for you. I don't do dreams interpretation no more because it's a different field. Maybe a different night inshallah. If I'm ever invited again. No, that's mine. That was mine. So, yeah, few questions inshallah. Bismillah. Yes. Yes, from one brother, one sister, one brother. Yes. Huh? Okay, I'll tell you how do you know. Very simple. Take this ruqya, okay? And listen to it or read it. And listen to Surah Al-Baqarah at least once. Or Surah Al-Saffat. Or Surah Al-Dukhan or Surah Al-Jinn. If you're able to read it with no problem, you're able to read it, you don't feel any dizziness, you don't feel any pressure in your body, any numbness, in the skin, then alhamdulillah, you're fine, go on, and things are fine. If you feel some of that, continue the reading for 15 days with the olive oil on your body and the water, it should go in, inshallah. Unless it's affliction with jinn, you need someone to help you out with that. Yes. Yes, very safe. I just don't recommend, this is what happened. Can you give me 1 minute? Sit down, sit down. This is what happened. I'm just gonna practice on Imam Ammar. This is what happened. Sometime, okay, when you're reading the Ruqya, okay, on yourself, the problem is if he's afflicted, pass out, there you go. He will pass out. Passing out, he won't be able to continue, or to hear, or to listen. So you need someone to continue the reading. So if you don't pass out and you're fine, but sometimes you feel tingling in your body, or numbness, or you feel pressure on your head, or you feel there's something moving in your head when you read this Ruqya, or when you listen to the Quran, or you feel it all the time. Crying is not a sign, because we all cry when we hear Quran. In Taraweeh, you see people reacting. If you feel something like that, stop your recitation, go and contact someone who knows these things, and they could help you with, inshallah. But be very careful of the fraud ruqah. You know, I just came, sisters, I will tell you right now, I recommend you doing the ruqya, the best preformed spiritual hearing reading is the one you do for yourself. Wallahi, that is better than anybody else. Why? Because you do care about yourself more than anybody else. If I am sick, Imam Ammar comes and visit, yes, he still feels bad for me for a few minutes, then he's gone at his house with his children, and I'm still sick. I am feeling my pain, and no one else will feel my pain. Best of ruqya to do on yourself. But if you have a real problem, sisters, 3 things that you should be careful of, especially sisters. Number 1, if a person ever touches you, you slap them on the face and leave. Honestly, there's no more joking about it. I just came from Australia. They took 20 cases to court. Ruqah, who are sexually harassing sisters through the ruqya and the recitation. And I don't want to tell you what they do. It went beyond, it went to court now. I had to go and deal with this matter on TV and debate some of them on what they do. When they touch the sister, they're wearing gloves. With all the respect, you're still touching her. Okay? They're rubbing over the chest area with recitation of Ayatul Kursi. That's sexual harassment. And the sisters are giving up and they're like, oh yeah, go ahead, we need it. And the husband is there watching. A person asks you for your name or your mother's name. A person recites things that you don't understand, words that it doesn't make sense. If he reads Quran, you all know Quran. But if you start reading things that you feel like mumbling, then you need to stop. Number 3, if he ever does this, he gets closer to you, touches you directly, without someone else, like your husband putting your hand and you put your hand, fine. But him touching you directly, I just had a Raqi, I reported him to the authority. What did he do? He reads on a sister, she passed out, he started writing Ayatul Kursi on her arms and her legs. And the sister was like, is that normal, Sheikh? I said, do you think that's normal? Do you need to ask? Like, you still asking, is that normal? There is no question asked. Something like that, you know that this person is fraud. This person is a liar. This person is bad. So sisters need to be extra careful with that. That's why I encourage sisters to learn. If a sister or two could learn to do the ruqya on the sisters, they will be much better than a brother doing it on a sister. But if you don't do it, if you don't go to do it on yourself.
Is there a difference between the protection ruqya versus the treatment ruqya?
Yes. So, the one that you have right now is the protection ruqya. That's not the treatment. The one that you have in your hand, mashallah, all are sold out. Okay, I didn't get even one back. It's not normal, but that's the protection ruqya. If the protection ruqya causes you some harm or some weird feeling, then you do need someone to do ruqya. There's something going on with you. But at least now, spray your house with the water inside the house with that ruqya, inshallah. What happened to the water from the ruqya used to shower that we read Quran on. You know the best way to do it? Best way. Block your bathtub. You know the old style bathing. Put something on stand in a I don't know, plastic container, whatever that is, and just pour it over your body, and take that water in the plastic container and throw it outside of your house or in close to your. Don't let it go through the drain or the sink. Even though if you do it, it's still fine. But yani, for the children, you should shower them this way. Do it every 3 days. If you feel there's a harm in the house, all you need to do, spray your house. Rasulullah said, Surah Al-Baqarah recited in a house, it will stop the shayateen from harming the house for 3 days. Surah Al-Baqarah لا يستطيعها البطلة. Surah Al-Baqarah, the magicians cannot even come close to it. Meaning you're protected. So this protection, at least, better to protect yourself before harm takes place, inshallah. Any other question? Yes, brother.
How do you store all those items like the Quran, the stuffing, all of it without getting harmed?
Inshallah, remember what we said at the beginning of the lecture? Remember the hadith? The harm is only what? What did Rasulullah say to Ibn Abbas? If all of mankind were to come together to benefit you, they won't be able to. And if they come together to harm you, they won't be able to harm you. These things have no harm because they are not done for me. These things were done for certain people. So the magic that is done for certain people only causes problem to those individuals. It doesn't transfer. Harm doesn't transfer. And having those things, I don't take them to my house. I keep them in a place that is away from the house, okay? But, alhamdulillah, did I go through harms at the beginning when I read on people? Yes. I used to see nightmares. I would see black dogs under my car, and when I looked down, they disappear. I would hear voices at night coming from the garage. My room was next to the garage. When I'm walking, you feel there is wind coming in. A lot of things. But the more that was a lead for me to never miss my adhkar, to never miss my salah, to never miss my recitation of Quran. It didn't scare me off, it actually helped me to be better. So now every morning I say to myself, if I don't do the adhkar, maybe someone will come to me today, I have to read on them and they have jinn, I will be harmed. So let me protect myself. It actually is a good lead to be a better person. But you shouldn't go into it if you don't. What is mental illness? Mental illness, okay, like sometimes we read on people who have seizures. A seizure attack is different from a jinn seizure attack. And I'll tell you one difference that you could notice. And I tell people, if you come, the first thing when they come to me, I refer them to a psychiatrist to check them out. Maybe that person has bipolar. Maybe this person has depression. Maybe this person has whatever from the phenia, any word that ends with phenia. What is it called? Schizophrenia and all these crazy words that they have, okay? But the problem is doctors nowadays, they are a little loose on it to a point that they start writing medication and prescribe medication without firmly diagnosing the patient. Right away it's depression, right away it's this, right? So I tell people go and see the treatment and also see the Quran treatment, see which one works. So one of the things that we have seen in practice, and I have done that in a clinic, that anybody who has a seizure attack due to the chemical of the brain being damaged or reduced of the chemical of the brain, when the seizure attacks, they only fall on one side. They only fall on one side. They either go on their back and they start reacting, or they go on their side and they start reacting, or they go on their one side per time. A person who has seizure due to a jinn possession, they start going around like crazy. Jumping to the front, standing up, falling to the back. So when you start reading, they're moving back and forth. That's proven medically in the British clinic in Egypt, Cairo, by some of the psychiatrists who are there, and we tested out through people who has jinn and people who have seizure due to that. That's one thing to notice. So mental illness, it is something that needs to be discussed in our communities, something not to be shy of, to get treatment of, but we also need to consider the spiritual part of it. Now, go ahead, brother. Yes, the brother.
My question was along the same line. How do you distinguish mental disease? Like, for example, you mentioned the hearing of a voice. This is a mental illness.
Yes.
So the chemistry, brain chemistry.
Yes.
So how do you distinguish that?
Through the recitation of the ruqya. If he comes to me and says, I hear voices, there are two things. This person might have wiswas, whispering. This person might have shaitan whispering. This person might be sick, mentally sick. So when I perform the ruqya, I am able to tell if that is afflicted through jinn or magic, or this needs to be treated by a doctor. And I'll tell you a surprise now, even though I'm in that field, and it will be a good advertising business, 85% or more of people who come to us have no jinn or possession. They're either mentally sick, have mental problem, but they're denying it. They want something easy. So I work very closely in that field with psychiatrists. I respect their opinion, especially Muslim psychiatrists, because they know the spiritual part of it too. But non-Muslim, they might deny but even though they have it in Christianity and Judaism, they also have the, what is it called? Exorcism. So they practice it, but the law has a problem with it. So that's why I said the only one who could differentiate is someone. A lot of people, when you go to them, they put their hand and they're like, oh brother, you have evil eye. How did you know that? You didn't even read. If somebody does that, then know that this person only read few books or something. They're not expert. Yes. Okay, so she said if you hear voices, we already answered that. How could you get rid of them? You know if it's jinn or not? As I told you, let someone read on you, and that person, when they perform the reading, they'll be able to tell you that what you're going through is possession of jinn or harm of jinn or due to magic, or that possession has to do with mental illness. And if he does tell you, you don't have jinn, you have mental problem, go see a doctor. Rasulullah said, Tadawa wa ibadallah, take in the means of medicine. Because Allah sends the affliction and He sends the cures for it. Now, yes. So last two questions, inshallah. One, two. And then later, anybody, so we don't hold people more, inshallah. Yes.
So there's some sheikhs who help with removing jinns, and they say that they use the help of muwakkils. So can you explain what
They use the help of?
muwakkils? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but that's what one of the sheikhs told us.
Okay.
So is that like a jinn that's helping them, or what is a muwakkil? Have you heard
I don't know what he's referring to as when he said the muwakkil. The slave jinn that he's working with? Yeah? Okay. Then you tell him, thank you very much, have a nice day, and I don't want to see you again. Period. I told you, there is no way. You know, I just had a person right now, but they just don't call him muwakkil. So it's maybe terminology. This person, he tells me that this sheikh deals with a jinn who lived from the time of Rasulullah. He's a companion. So I said to the sheikh, mashallah, how did you affirm? You saw his ID? And the sheikh said, no, he told me he saw Rasulullah. And then he's still living till today. I said, okay, and that jinn does things for you? He said, yes. I said, okay, mashallah, then good luck. Anybody who does that, please stay away from them. These people they could be working with a jinn. They could. I'm not saying they could. But the only way to work with jinn, the jinn are not just sitting there waiting for you to tell them, oh, do this for me, do that for me. They are workers. Now, go to the Home Depot. You'll find people standing outside. Pick up a worker and tell him, come and do my garden, and at the end, I'm not going to pay you. Would they come? That's what the jinn says. You want me to help you? Do 1, 2, 3. Now, the more harm or the more benefit that you want me to help, the more disbelief you have to do. So they could help. Yes, they are able to help, but they are helping with the harm. Now, how do we know whether we are afflicted with evil eye or not? Evil eye has signs. I didn't have time to cover that, so maybe another lecture, inshallah. Evil eye has signs. Numbness in the body. Yawning a lot, nightmares, headaches, all of the, I have about, here you go. I have a lot of things that I can't, there's no, here you go. All of these things could be a sign for evil eye. Okay, all of these things. Yawning, burping, allergies, rashes, Most sisters, they are hit by jinn every night. And I'll tell you why. Maybe some of you will agree with me or not. Do you ever wake up with bruise, like bluish in your arms or your legs? Yeah? If anybody does that, first you need to check if your husband is beating you up at night. Again. If not, mostly that's the awamir jinn. These are the jinn that afflicts. They cause these bruises. Like you see, you stand up. Sister told me she was taking a shower a few days, and then she saw bluish on her arm, like somebody had, or she hit something. So she went, she took a shower, she laid down, she slept. Second day, she saw bruises here. So I told her, read. When she read, she heard very strong voice in the house, so she sprayed the house. Alhamdulillah, she's fine now. But that could be a sign. Any of these things, bruises, laziness. Laziness doesn't mean because your son is lazy, then he has jinn. No, I'm saying evil eye. These are things that could appear as all of this here. Headaches. Maybe next lecture, inshallah. Maybe that's too much. When I do ruqya myself, my eyes keep watering, tears, and yawning a lot. That could be a sign of the sister who says this, or the brother. When you do ruqya, your eyes are you're yawning, and your eyes are dropping tears a lot. That could be a sign of an evil eye. That could be a sign of an evil eye. All you need to do is that if you know the person who gave you the evil eye, you ask them to shower. Okay? How do they shower for you? They make wudu. This is what happened. You saw something that you like. You saw a child playing. You're like, oh, your children is very strong, or he has green eyes. How did you have a child who has green eyes? You know, there's a sister, I don't know why she's doing that to me. I hope I'm not on camera now. I am? Okay. She's in our, oh, that's even worse. She came into, when I first bought my house, my car, she said, oh, Shaykh Ammar, nice car. You know, the kids were cleaning your window today. They look bright. I went outside, the window went crack, the front window. So I took it to the guy to fix it, all right? I came back. I told my wife the story, so she saw it, the message. She was like, you know, we fixed the window, $500 yesterday. And she was telling me. She said, what window? I just saw it outside. It was fine. Wallahi, we went outside after Salah, crack. So I took it to the guy. The guy told me, how do you break the window the same way every time? Like, it can't be. You know, the crack is the same shape. I told him, don't worry about it. Third time. Then the sister was like, I said, ittaqillah, please say mashallah. Please. So she didn't say mashallah. She said, well, nice car. The window, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to fix it. Just leave it like that. I left it like that for 2 months. Till it actually spreads, then I had to do it. So an evil eye could be true. So I know the person. What should they do? They're making wudu like this. Alright? They make wudu with water, and you collect their wudu in a container. If you know them, mashi, and then they wash their knees and their stomach area in that container. So the water that they're using should be collected, and you take it and you shower with it. طيب, I don't know that person. That's actually a hadith in Bukhari. I don't know that person. I take in water. Zamzam water will be better. And then olive oil. I recite the ruqya on the olive oil. And every night I rub my body, skin. You rub your skin from head to toe at night. And then the second, when you sleep. When you wake up, you take a bottle that has the ruqya recited on, and you shower off the olive oil. And then second day, you do the same thing. You do that for 15 days, inshallah, the evil eye will be away from you, and the yawning and all of that will stop. If not, then see someone who specializes in ruqya to do the full ruqya on you to see what's going on. Yeah, this brother raised his hand 20 times now. No, sister, continue the question, huh? One second, huh? لابد حد يقرأ عليك. لازم حد يقرأ عليك. You need someone to read on you to be able to tell if it's magic, evil eye, ولا إيه هو. We have to know. لازم حد يقرأ عليك. بس ابدأي بالماء والolive oil for 15 days. If you don't feel better after 15 days, inshallah, contact me ونشوف نعم.
So, what about the hadith that says 70,000 of my ummah will enter paradise without being brought to account, and they are the ones who did not ask for ruqya? or believe in omens or use pottery and they put their trust in their Lord.
That hadith is narrated by Imam Muslim on the authority of Ukasha radiallahu anhu when he said, he asked the Prophet ﷺ to make him among them, and he said, you are one of them. That hadith has so many explanations. Number one, people who don't ask for ruqya, لا يسترقون. Ibn Hajar يقول, والنووي رحمه الله, they said, لا يسترقون means that they do not seek ruqya that is shirk, that is disbelief. Because the Prophet ﷺ said to the Sahaba, اعرضوا علي رقاكم. Tell me how do you do ruqya. That means they was doing ruqya. قال لا بأس بالرقى ما لم يكن فيها شرك. There is no problem having ruqya if it's not disbelief. So the Prophet says anyone who perform ruqya that has any wording that is disbelief or anything like that, they are not from the 70,000. One. Second explanation says no. The word لا يسترقون means that they do not ask for ruqya. They rely upon Allah and they don't ask for ruqya. Alright, when they are afflicted. Number three, يقول النووي لا يسترقون means they do not ask it more often. Because Rasulullah ﷺ did ruqya, and he is among the 70,000 for sure. And Jibril did ruqya for him. So they said, but he didn't ask Jibril to do ruqya. So they said, from the sunnah, when you visit someone who's sick, you perform ruqya on them before they ask you. So that hadith has explanation. I lean toward the explanation that the ruqya that is against the Quran or Sunnah is what's meant in that hadith. Why? Because he said at the end of the hadith, وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ, and they rely upon Allah. So the tawakkul cannot be mentioned twice. So when he said, Rasulullah said, istarqu. He said to Asma, I see your kids being very skinny. What's wrong? You don't feed them well? She said, Ya Rasulullah, they're always afflicted with an eye, evil eye. He said, you need to perform ruqya on them, they will feel better. Him saying that to her, didn't he want her, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to be from the 70,000? Why would he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, make her miss a chance? So that means that he allowed it. So the one la yastarqun has an interpretation. They don't ask for it, or they don't perform the haram ruqya, which is the amulet and all these things. Yeah. Last question, inshallah, because I've been out since Fajr. 3 workshops a day. If a Muslim person do ruqya at home, and all those steps when they hear the jinn, or how we're able to hear the jinn conversation. La, you won't hear any jinn conversation, don't worry. If you spray the house or you do ruqya at your home, you are getting rid of the jinn. You are keeping them outside of your house. You won't hear them talking. You might hear someone running, you might see some shadows in the house, but they won't. If they do harm you to a point that you could hear jinn, that means there's a problem with your house, that you just can't get rid of them with water. That's a bigger problem. So when you're spraying the house, it's like you're keeping it protected. So as soon as the jinn sees the water, the Quran being recited, they just decide to leave the house, and they don't come back till 3 days. So there is no harm on you. Don't be scared. No, there's no harm. You're fine. Yes.
So, how do you get rid of all those? If you have any of those,
Oh yeah, but
how do you get on them?
as I said, the workshop is 6 hours. So I did it in few hours. That's impossible. But how do you get rid of them? As soon as you see something like that in your house, first step, you need to make sure there is no no, you open it up first. Okay, this is the paper. Paper is closed, or as I told you, these papers were in these nuts. They were actually sealed like that. All right. So I opened it up. I found this paper inside. What should I do? First, I make sure there is no sand or soil or incense, the bukhur, the smell, nothing in there. If there is anything on there, you pour it to the water first. You bring in a container, you read Quran in the water, and you put it next to you. So you put this in there, all right? You dissolve the paper. You put the sand in there, or the whatever that's in there. If it doesn't have any sand, then that's simple. You read Al-Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi 3 times, the 4 Qul ya al-Kafirun, Qul Allah, and then you burn it, okay? and the burning might take some time. I was in my brother's house, he lives near you here, Folsom, and I came to his house and he had one of these. It took us 3 hours to burn the paper. Every time we burn it, the whole paper is burned except the writing. We put the writing on the fire, it doesn't burn. So you do your best to burn it, and then after you burn it, you bring in all the ashes into the water till it dissolves. You take that water, you bury it somewhere in the ground. Inshallah, Allah will get rid of the magic for you.
Ashes were dissolved in the water?
Yes. You put the ashes in the water and you leave it in the water for a few hours, or you just take it, put it in the water and just take the water outside of your house. The people who dissolve the papers first and then they burn it, it becomes very hard because when you have a wet paper, it's almost impossible to burn after that. Like it takes more time. So I recommend burning it first and then having it in the water. Except, as I said, if it has any sand or soil. If it's something like that, then you have to break it to pieces, leave it in the water for 1 day. The water that has reading, not just any water, water that you read. So you have the container in front of you. You put your mouth in and you blow. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. You finish Surah Al-Fatiha, you go like this in the water. This water is what you're going to dissolve in. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ did. Now, the other type is this type right here. Do you see these nuts? Yeah? You have to undo them. You cannot just burn it or dissolve it like that. You have to undo the nuts and then put it into the water, and that's the sunnah of Rasulullah. That hadith is narrated by Imam Bukhari and Muslim and other. So each one has its own way of burning it or getting rid of it. So I would prefer ask someone who's experienced and show him. Like some brothers will send me the picture and I will tell them do this or do that or do this. Jazakumullah khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this gathering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us protected from the harms of the Shaytani of the humans and the Shaytani of the Jinn. Sometimes the humans are even worse than the Jinn in their harm. So may Allah keep us all protected, inshallah. Allahumma ameen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك ونتوب إليك. جزاكم الله خيرا for the invitation. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.
Jazakallah Shaykh for your time and all of the effort you put. May Allah bless you and your family. Jazakallah khair.
We didn't do the magic هي بنتك يبقى هي محسوبة أو كده. هي بنتك مثلا صغيرة زي خالص والهيني بيعكس ماشي الصبح حميها بمية دافية 15 فيها عين فيها أي يعني ايه؟ That is مرة أو مرتين بس كانوا لازم يستخدموا Sorry, we kept you waiting for a moment. This is the first time people just stay flown off the land. Everywhere. I know. I should do part 2. We need you again. There will be dream interpretation.
Is it turned on? Oh, someone turned it on?